You're in Italy, you're in a Maserati, and you get to a tunnel, this is just what you do. I've just been for a drive in the new Maserati MCPura, or Pura as you would say it in Australia. This is basically an evolution or a facelifted version of the MC20. Light little design updates, new front end. This has got the carbon fiber pack, so all of that front chin spoiler is carbon fiber. Side skirts as well, and it's got an updated rear bar. And there's some new colors and trims added to the mix. This example is the Cello, which is the open top or convertible version, roadster version. You can peel back the roof, it's a hard top. But I've been trying to think about what this vehicle is exactly. Is it a supercar or a super sports car? After going for a drive, I think it's a supercar because it offers excellent performance, as in, superior performance compared with a super sports car. And it produces all of the theatre, the noise, the drama of a supercar as well. It is mid-engined after all. It doesn't have a V8 or a V12 or V10, so it's not quite at that level, but power and torque is very much so. This has got the same carryover 3-litre Nettuno engine, twin-turbo V6 from the MC20, 463 kilowatts, 720-ish Newton meters of torque. Massive amount of torque, especially for a vehicle like this. Weighs about 1,500, 1,600 kilograms. Very lightweight, as you'd expect, but it has a distinct Maserati personality in that it is quite luxurious, quite bespoke inside, so you can actually drive it in reasonable comfort. It's actually really comfortable for this style of vehicle. I love the rally style footrest there for the passenger. It's got awesome seats. They really hug you in, but they're not too stiff or, protrude into your guts and your hips. And it's got the Alcantara and carbon fiber dashboard, full carbon fiber doors and body, and carbon fiber monocoque tub. Actually, it's not a complete carbon fiber body. The panels are a composite mix of various materials, still very lightweight and still very strong. This is painted in a beautiful purple color, and it's got a bit of a gold flip there in the sun. You might be able to see that on camera. But yeah, there's all sorts of different paint colors, including a new artificial intelligence aqua, which is this nice, pristine, bluey green color. It's really beautiful. Even though this is mid-engine, you do have a reasonable boot in the back. So you can easily fit some overnight luggage in there or something like that, or a weekend away. And you've also got a little bit of space under the bonnet at the front. All right, let's rewind now and go back to the drive, and I'll show you what it's like in both normal conditions but also on spirited roads. We'll test out the sport mode, the GT mode, and the Corsa mode for the driving systems. All right, out on the road. So first impressions, we're just driving around in the town at the moment. We're going to go up into the mountains in a second. Is that, yeah, it does have a lot of theatre about it, even when you're cruising around. There's a bit of character. You've got that engine right behind you, burbling away. It definitely feels like a sports car. It's got that low slung seating position as well, but it's pretty practical in terms of being able to see out. Like, I know where the corners are pretty much. The view at the back is a little bit tighter, but it does have an electronic mirror, so you can see exactly behind you, or you can just flip it back to the normal mirror. But at my height, I can't really see much from that. The ride comfort is definitely on the sort of sportier side, being a supercar or a super sports car, but it's not, totally uncomfortable. I could drive this to work pretty much every day if I really wanted to. I can feel all the bumps, I can feel everything on the road, which is important because it means when you're out doing some sporty driving, you can get all that detail through the steering wheel. But there does seem to be a bit of wheel travel happening, like it's absorbing the bumps. It's a pretty smooth road, but yes, it seems to be a bit of wheel travel compared with other super sports cars. On the highway, it feels pretty civilized. I've got it in the sport mode because I find the GT mode, it drops in, goes into the higher gear as quick as it can, and the revs are quite low. It's only, 1600 RPM. It just feels a little bit unnatural, I guess, and I'm pushing on the accelerator. You can hear the turbos winding up. but it just feels a tiny bit unnatural in my opinion. But it's quite comfortable and it's easy to drive. It's not, the sound and the noise and all that isn't overbearing. I just prefer the sporty mode. It just adds a bit of theatre. And the ride comfort is, so there we go, you can hear the induction sounds of the turbos. Just give it a bit. Definitely an awesome sound. You hear the turbo sneezing and whistling and all that. Yeah, definitely very exciting. We'll go up the mountains now and really give it some. The turbo whistling and everything is, it's like an old school aftermarket Skyline or something. It's really got a lot of awesome noises. Yeah, definitely very exciting. With a 0 to 100 claim of 2.9 seconds, I was thinking that's pretty much supercar levels. You know, it's not super sports car really. I mean, it depends what you're comparing it to, but yeah, 2.9 is not far off kind of the best McLarens and Lamborghinis and so on, with rear wheel drive anyway. Hopefully we can continue up into the mountains, going through these little Italian towns. Lots of motorbike riders in Italy as well, and they love the nice roads, so you pretty much can just follow them and you know you're going somewhere cool. It doesn't really have turbo lag, but the engine is kind of naturally, seems like it's a highly strung unit. But the sounds that it produces, it kind of sounds like turbo lag, but you've got plenty of force and surge pushing you along, even in the higher gears. They're just there. It's still pushing me along quite a bit, even though the revs seem like they're lagging a little bit. And it revs nice and high too. Like it's not just a low-end machine. It's got a broad range of capability. Good brakes, good brake feel. Steering as well, I know exactly what the front wheels are doing. I know if it's going to let go at the back, even though it is a little bit greasy. I can feel what's going on, so definitely a true driver's car in that sense. I think the engine just provides all the character that you'd expect from a Maserati. Like it's just really animated, producing all kinds of cool sounds, but offers excellent performance as well. Started to lose traction a little bit there in sport mode. You put it in Corsa mode, the stability control turns completely off, so no mucking around. It's just, yep, okay, you want to be in Corsa mode. It's thinking you want to be on the track, so you want maximum performance. We'll try that out when we'll get into a bit of a drier section. Now, if you want the full experience, you need to put the roof down, and then you've just got all that environment outside and all the sounds coming in. So that was full throttle then, just to see what sort of response it has. And as I said, the engine revs seem like they're building up a little bit slowly, but the building of speed and the surge in your back is still very big. Hear the turbo sneezing then. Awesome gearbox, it changes down exactly when I pull the paddle, and up as well. It's not too jolty. It's exactly what you want. Now we'll try out the Corsa mode. Now this will turn stability control completely off as far as I'm aware. Yep, up on the dash. There's still plenty of traction, really wide tyres. You don't have to worry about it, instantly snapping out because the engine's in the back as well, pressing the rear wheels down on the ground, providing that bit of extra downforce. That's what a supercar is all about. So even in the Corsa mode, it's still not too stiff, the suspension. It feels like a sports car, but it's not totally uncomfortable like a track car or something like that. Response is even sharper as well, as you'd imagine. Only need to just lean on the throttle just a little bit and it starts building up speed. I think, yeah, as I said, that engine provides all the character, as well as, the excellent handling. The overall experience is very exciting, but that engine, I think, is an absolute beauty. Yeah, so even on this surface, there's a little bit greasy, a little bit of wet patches around. I've got the stability control completely off and it's hooking up just fine. It doesn't feel intimidating to drive, even though it is extremely quick. You've got the paddle shifters mounted on the column as well. Like a racing car, this is not mucking about. You've got about 30 PSI running through that engine, 2 bars or just below 30 PSI. It's a very high performance unit. I love the way it just glides around the corner. It doesn't, I know most supercars are like that, but it just really feels organic and raw. There's no surprises, in other words. It's doing exactly what I tell it to do. And with that massive amount of torque coming through from low RPM, you can use that to your advantage coming out of the corner. There's no, inside wheel spin or anything like that to contend with. It's just doing what you want when you want. Blipping of the throttle on the downshifts, very responsive paddles as well. A little bit of wheel spin there. As I said, there's so much torque with this engine. It's amazing for a 3-litre V6. I mean, it is a little bit greasy, a little bit wet at the moment. But for this much power and torque, it's holding up really well, gripping up really well, sorry. Full throttle. That turbo sound is so good. And yeah, enormous G-force, awesome performance. Good brakes as well. This has got carbon ceramic brakes. See, even that was a slightly different wastegate sound, a very high pitch, like Group B rally style sound. It's always different. That's what I mean, it's got so much character. So would you buy one of these over something like an entry-level McLaren, or even an entry-level, or even a mid-spec Porsche 911? Well, if you want that theatre and excitement of a supercar, then yes, absolutely. This provides traditional supercar levels of theatre. Does it have the same speed? I think it does. It feels very capable, at least on these roads. It'll be interesting to see how it went on the track, but it feels every bit as supercar as anything else that's like it. I guess it's going to come down to the price, but if you're in this market, price is probably not that important to you anyway. For me, as I said, that engine is just beautiful. It really produces all the sounds and characteristics that you want from a supercar. It's not too linear either, in my opinion. I mean, the acceleration feels linear, but it doesn't sound linear. It feels like there's a lot going on. There's different bits of noise coming out at various parts of the rev range, which you don't really get in modern cars, and you certainly don't get in electric vehicles, obviously. So you've got that to play with, and it just makes it very entertaining. Now you can get a lot of options with this as well, as per typical with high-end vehicles, but that's actually a good thing because you can customize it, personalize it through Maserati's customization program, get it looking exactly how you want. You can have Alcantara, leather, all sorts of different colors and trims you can choose from. And that's what it's all about, creating something that's personal and unique. You can find more information in the written review linked in the description of this video. Thanks for watching.